today I want to show you another way that you can sew your inseam when your front inseam is slightly longer than your back inseam. First, let me explain why patterns are drafted that way. Sometimes a pattern designer will decide to make the front inseam slightly longer than the back inseam, and then when you sew it up, you stretch the back to fit the front, and that helps smooth and ease wrinkles on the back leg. Now, in the past, I have taught people to pin the leg at the knee and the crotch, and then stretch it to fit as you sew. But I was talking with my good friend Kay, and she told me back in the day, she was taught to actually press and stretch the back inseams to the right length before sewing, and she was taught not to go all the way to the knee, just to go down about 6 inches. So I want to give this a try. So last week during FabFit Friday, I shared how to walk your inseams and side seams together to make sure that they agree with each other. And that's when I noticed that my front inseam was longer than my back inseam. So during FabFit Friday, I just made them equal by raising the back inseam the 1/4 inch I needed to get it to agree. Now that is an option that you can do. Okay, so if you'd like to make your inseams even, you can do that. And honestly, on looser fitting pants and trousers, I make my inseams match. But I think it's going to be fun to try this little experiment. And I just want to point out to everybody, I showed how to walk the pieces. And if you're interested in watching that, I'm going to put a link to FabFit Friday from last week in the description below so you can check that out. But basically, when you walk a pattern, you want to start at the knee position on the leg, and you want to walk from the knee to the hem, and then you want to walk from the knee up to the crotch points, or on the side seams up to the waistline. And the reason why you want to do it that way is because the pattern needs to agree on the leg from knee down 1 to 1. And if that is the case and they do agree, but you have a discrepancy between the knee and the crotch, or the knee and the waist, you need to know that you have to adjust it at the top, either at the crotch or the waist. If you start walking your pattern from the waist and crotch and go all the way down to the hem, and there's a difference, and then you change the pattern at the hem when the issue was really above the knee, you could end up getting a twisted leg. So it's really important to start at the knee, walk down to make sure they match, and then walk up to make sure they match. And again, check the link below if you'd like to see me physically do that for you in a demo that I did on FabFit Friday. So this is my shorts pattern that I was playing with, and you can see I had a little piece of paper taped here because I had filled in the back so it was the same length as the front. But instead, I'm going to show you how to stretch the back inseam so they sew together evenly, and then after I finish my shorts later, I will come back and share how I think this worked and if it's something that's valuable and worth doing. So basically, I cut off that 1/4 inch, okay, off my back. And if you want to see how to make them even, check the link below to FabFit Friday, because I did it during FabFit Friday. I made them match. All right, so those are my pattern pieces. Get that out of the way. So now I have this fun black and white floral print that I'm going to make my shorts out of, and I've already cut the pieces out. Now you'll notice before I cut the pieces out, I did add a fitting allowance to the side seam and to above the waistline. This is the pattern I'm working with, my Shorts for Everybody pattern. And the thing about this pattern that is really nice is that I took the time to create both a low and an average full hip. So if you'd like to start working with a pattern that is closer to your shape, this is a good one to work with. You might have probably heard me say that fitting shorts is like pants fitting light, because you don't have to worry about the bend in your knee and what that does to the overall fit of your pants and the overall drape of the fabric. So this pattern is designed to accommodate two different shapes. So both front and backs are in the pattern. So if anybody's interested in working with this Shorts for Everybody pattern, I am putting a link to that in the description below as well. All right, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to show you, this is my front, this is my back, and I'm just going to lay them here so you can see that my back is in fact that little 1/4 inch shorter than my front. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to take, I think I'm going to do one at a time. I'm going to lay them on my gridded pressing surface, and I am going to count down 6 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to use one of my forked pins to hold this here. Okay, because what I want to do is mark where I'm going to stretch and where I'm not going to stretch. So this is the 6-inch mark. So basically, I'm just putting a pin here to hold it. I've got my iron all heated up. And what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to heat up this area. Okay, so I'm just steaming it and heating it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stretch it from here to here. I'm just going to stretch it so it's a 1/4 inch longer. And I'm going to use my fingers to do that. It really is not difficult. You can see that I am just finger pressing. And then to solidify the shape, I'm going to use my clapper and hold it there. So the wood traps the heat, so this is very nice. All right, so you can see now what I did was I actually stretched that a 1/4 inch higher. So I'm going to remove my pin now that it's cool, and I'll just fold this one back, and I'm going to bring this one out, and again I'm going to just pin 6 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to stick a pin right here. And then, wait a minute. Just want to make sure I've got it laying flat and smooth. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to put my pin at 6 inches. And then again, I'm going to give this some nice steam. If anybody needs a new iron, this Aliso TG 1600 Pro iron is wonderful to work with because, see, the little legs pick it up when you let go of the handle. So it's Jennifer proof. All right, now I'm going to stretch this the 1/4 inch that I need. Okay, so I'm just using my fingers, and notice I'm not stretching any of this. I'm just stretching here, and then when I get it that 1/4 inch, I'm just going to trap the heat with my clapper. Now, why can we get away with doing this? The back inseam approaches the bias grain line because it is on an angle extending from the crotch point down to the knee. So this gives us a little bit of a built-in stretch that we can take advantage of. All right, so there you go. Now I'm going to unpin this, and I'm just going to verify that these two edges are in fact the same. So let's get those together. First I'm going to check it like this just to make sure they're equal. Okay, so you can see, yep, they are equal. And then if I lay it back down on the pressing surface and I get my front, if I take one of my fronts and one of my backs, I'm just going to take one of each here because I just want to show you, and I'm going to match these together like I'm going to sew them. Okay, I'll put one inside out and one right side out so you can see. Basically, what's happening here is you want the very top at the very top, you're going to see a little triangle of the back poking up at the raw edge. That doesn't mean you stretched it too much. Where you're looking to see if it matches is a 1/2 inch away. All right, so you want to make sure that when you sew your 1/2 inch, that's where they agree. And you can see that they agree right there at the 1/2 inch mark. All right, because this pattern has a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I am going to try sewing these now that I've stretched my back to match my front. And we're just going to see how that drapes and hangs. I think this is a good fabric to try it in because it's soft drapey linen, you know, and I was able to stretch it to make it agree. And I'm going to go ahead and make these shorts. First I'm going to baste them together, test fit. Then I'm going to cut off my extra fitting allowances and sew them together. I'm really hoping for a pull-on pair of easy breezy floral linen shorts to wear. I'm very excited. You know, I love the fact that there are so many different ways to do things, and that even though I have been teaching sewing and fitting for 20 years, I'm still learning. So I'm always excited when I can share something new with you guys that, well, new to me, like you might already even know this. So if you have any questions or comments, please post those below and I will help you. If you're enjoying my content, consider liking and subscribing to my channel because it helps me grow. And if you'd like to save time looking for the tutorial that you need on my channel, I am putting a link to my J Stern Designs YouTube Insider Club. It's a one-time payment of $99 and it offers you my whole entire catalog of tutorials organized by topic and order of operation. In addition to that, we're meeting once a month. So we're coming up to our second meetup on the last Sunday of the month at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am very happy to tell you that I had people from Australia and the UK join in the first one, which was really fun. So you get a chance to meet with me face to face. And here's the thing, I want to meet you. So I priced this club as a one-time payment instead of a subscription, even though there's going to be monthly updates. So all my new content from June is going to get added to the catalog for July. And new for August, I'm going to also include a detailed index of every video. So you'll be able to print out what the tutorials are all on one page, as well as having each tutorial on its own page that you can print and then access tutorials either by clicking the bit.ly link or scanning the QR code. So that gives you the flexibility of printing out the catalog and scanning the QR code, or you can just leave it on your computer and click the bit.ly link to get right to the tutorial you're looking for. So it's really fun. I've been having a lot of fun with it. There's also a community message board, so I've had questions and comments already. I'm really looking forward to growing this YouTube Insider Club. It's been a lot of fun so far. So there is a link in the description below for that as well. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.